The first game is at 4:30. The men's game is at 7:30 that we've been talking about. It is UCCS versus Colorado Mesa. The Mountain Lions lost the last game to Mesa 0-1, but now is their chance for a little bit of revenge, and they're looking to win. They're looking for a big win tomorrow night. The last time we talked to you, the UCCS men's team was on the verge of going to Lakewood to play Colorado Christian, and we were hyping up that game. So real briefly, we want to just cover the result of that game, because not this past Friday, but the Friday before that, UCCS did take on Colorado Christian, and UCCS won in that game 6-2, Martin. That's a very dominating win, and it was 6 separate Mountain Lion players who scored a goal. That is very impressive. 6 separate Mountain Lions with a goal.
That's like they were having a party.
It was a pardookie up there in Lakewood.
Yeah, they had a 6-pack.
Yeah, 6-pack. They were getting real crunk with it, Martin. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But in that game, Sebastian Hertzberg had 1 goal, 1 assist. Mash Chassoir had 1 goal, 1 assist. James Roberts had 1 goal, 1 assist. Luke Chapman had a goal. Kyle Tetrault had a goal. And Marshall Heiner had a goal. So all of those Mountain Lions, 3 of them with a goal, 3 of them with a goal and assist. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's stat book padding.
That's right. That's all they were doing. They had the win. They said, we'll just pad the stats a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did that in Lakewood, and that was very impressive. On last Friday, they lost, however, to Colorado Mines. That was a tough matchup. And on Sunday, they lost to Metro State in overtime. So they took that one to overtime, but fell short 1-2 in that game. But the men's team is playing very high-quality soccer right now, or football, as they say in other countries.
Yeah, and I think Coach Keane has done a good job in his first year. I mean, I know he was assistant last year, but I think he's got the team on the right track. I expect good things in the playoffs and even next year.
Playoffs. Well, any time that you can make the playoffs in your first season doing anything, coaching, playing.
And first home game.
Yeah, and that's the first time this has ever happened in school history in your first year of coaching. That has got to be a reward in and of itself. So hats off to Johnny Keane. He's done a great job with that team. You know who else has done a really great job with their team?
I'll tell you what. I got a good feeling.
Who?
About who we're about to talk about.
Who are we going to talk about?
The women's team.
Oh.
Are we?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That sounds good. You got the script.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I mean, when we're talking about what we're going to hear, when we talk to our listeners next week, we'll hopefully have good news about the men's team. But I got to say, I really feel good about the women's team. They have played phenomenally.
Phenomenally.
All season they played well.
All season.
So we're excited. I think there are big things. Not to raise expectations, but I think they're going to do great.
You think so?
Well, yeah.
Martin, I'm not going to argue with you on that. So I think they're going to do great too.
Yeah,
I do. Right now, the UCCS women's team. Oh, we forgot to mention the men's team is the 4th seed in the RMAC standings right now. So going into the playoffs, they're the 4th seed, which gives them a first round home game, and they're going to take on the 5th seed. So that's going to be a good matchup. On the women's side, the exact same situation. They're the 4th seed as well. And they're going to play the 5th seed also. Since the last time we talked to you 2 weeks ago on our last episode of the Lions Den, the UCCS women's team had 4 matchups. They went 2-1-1. They won 2 of them, lost 1 of them, and tied 1 of them. In the last 3 games, they've all gone to overtime. The last 3 games for the women's team have all gone to overtime, and they've gone 1-1-1 in all 3 of those games.
Yeah. And I gotta say, the thing that's in their favor is they're playing at home, and they are 9-1-1 at home.
They are near unbeatable at home. They have played out of their minds at home. So this idea of the home field advantage is a huge, huge benefit to this Mountain Lion team because they have played excellently at home. The number 18th ranked team in the nation, Martin, we got to mention that as well.
Right.
The women's team is the number 18th ranked team in the entire nation. nation. New standings will come out today, and with the play over the last weekend, they may have faltered a little bit in those standings. But since the last time that we talked to you, they have been ranked nationally, and that is very exciting, Martin. I can't tell you how rewarding that's got to be for a team who is only in their 5th year of a program and already nationally ranked with a home playoff game and a chance to move forward. And they could win it all. They could. Both teams could win it all.
Yeah, and they have a good record in the RMAC. I mean, they're 9-3-2.
Yeah, there's only been 3 teams the entire year in the RMAC to beat them, and 2 of those came on the road. Only 1 loss at home all season.
So tell us about their matchup tomorrow night.
Well, tomorrow, Martin, they're going to play Fort Lewis, and Fort Lewis is a very good program. They are nationally recognized as being a powerhouse in soccer, especially on the men's side, but the women's side also a very prominent program. Tomorrow they're going to play Fort Lewis, and last time that they played Fort Lewis, they won. The Mountain Lions beat Fort Lewis the last time that they played the Skyhawks. They won 1-0 in overtime with a goal by Hannah Rather. So this is a team that the Mountain Lions know they can win.
Yeah, and I'm going to go out on a limb in the playoff game tomorrow. I'm going to say one of the Hannahs. Whoever scores, their first name is going to be Hannah.
You think so, Martin? So. Because we have a lot of friendly bets. We've had a few friendly bets.
That's right.
I'm going to go. You have twice as big of an advantage with this bet. You're going to say one of the 2 Hannahs is going to score. I'm going to vote that it's going to be Agnes Arnedottir, who over the weekend became the all-time leading scorer in UCCS history on the women's side of the soccer program. So Agnes Arnedottir is all of a sudden the leading scorer in any year for the Mountain Lion team. So I am going to bet you, Martin, that it is Agnes who scores a goal.
Okay, $1.
$1?
Yes.
$1 bet?
Yep.
Okay. Listening Lions, you can hold Tiny Heiny Hines to this when I beat him, or rather when Agnes Arnedottir beats the Skyhawks.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, Martin is going to owe me $1.
And I hope I lose that bet because I'd like them to score some goals and win.
How about we tie?
Yeah.
And one of the Hannahs scores and Agnes scores.
Yep.
And we win 2-0. And then we go on to play Regis, because that's on the women's side of things who the winner of the game tomorrow gets. They get to play Regis. The last time the Mountain Lions played Regis, they fell to the Rangers 1-2. So that is going to be a tough matchup. But UCCS is a very, very good team. And tomorrow, that game at 4:30 here at Mountain Lion Stadium, UCCS will take on Fort Lewis in the very first home playoff game in soccer program history. Martin, there's only been one other time where we've even had a home playoff game, and that was for softball close to a decade ago. So this is the second home playoff game ever for any sport ever in the history of this school. So this is monumental, Martin.
Yeah, and one thing that you mentioned is that Agnes she broke an all-time record. What I'm noticing is that a lot of our teams, including volleyball, have record breakers. People who are setting records here at UCCS. This is almost like a renaissance for UCCS.
Well, because all of a sudden, all of the sports are surging, and they're all taking off. They're finally all getting over the hump. Everybody talks about you got to get over the hump. Last year, we saw some success with some of our sports teams, but they were never really able to get over that hump. And this year, you see it already happening. 2 home playoff games. That's going to be huge, Martin. That's going to be so exciting. So very exciting stuff, Martin, because they're all starting to really take off and find their groove. And, it's going to start with the women's soccer team, because they will have the very first game tomorrow at 4:30 here at Mountain Lion Stadium when they do take on Fort Lewis. And Fort Lewis, indeed, is a very good opponent. But as you said, Martin, the Mountain Lions have only lost 1 home game all season. So that's got to be a game that the Mountain Lions are favored with that unbelievable home record. And due to the fact that that right now, I mean, they're playing as good as they have played all season. I mean, they're playing really, really good soccer right now.
Yeah, and depending on how well they do in the RMAC tournament, I mean, that could determine quite possibly how where they end up in the NCAA tournament, which would be another milestone for the UCCS program. And so I think I'm really confident in the women going deep and eventually qualifying for the NCAA tournament.
Well, they have a very similar opportunity as do the men, because tomorrow, if they win, they will be back in action on Friday for the second round of the playoffs. If they win that matchup, they will be back in action on Sunday for the championship. So this next week is going to be huge. We have potentially 6 soccer matchups, 3 on each side, depending on how far each team goes. But like I said, Martin, I think, it'll be interesting to see who wins that bet. Let's just put it that way. Hopefully we don't tie because neither of them score. Hopefully we tie because both of them score. But my money's on Agnes. And Agnes, because of her accolade, has got to be our shining lion of the week. Martin, she's got to be. In the 5 years of UCCS soccer program, Agnes has become the all-time leading scorer. That being with goals scored and assists, Agnes has taken over that throne and become number 1 all-time in program history. And the regular season is over, but we still have a few playoff games here, and she can continue to add to her lead. And Agnes is a 5'11" junior. She's a forward. She's from Iceland. And I got to tell you, Martin, when I'm doing announcements for the games, this is the most fun I have with any announcement.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, now that you mentioned that she's from Iceland, if there's a lot of ice in Iceland.
She's ice cold.
She is cold.
Ice baby.
I think that's what we should play for her.
From Iceland, number 22, Agnes Arnadottir.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah. Well, Agnes, congratulations. You are our shining lion of the week, and that is because of your stellar career here at UCCS, in particular this season, where you have become the all-time leading scorer in program history. So congratulations to Agnes Arnadottir. Fantastic job, and our hat is off to Agnes and all of the rest of the soccer teams who really have put the program on the map, and now with a chance to host their very first playoff games tomorrow night. I can't tell you how excited I am for that, Martin.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
There's nothing more I'd rather be doing on Halloween than spending it in the big pirate ship looking stat booth that we call our press box, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So
be sure and come out there wearing your outfits for Halloween.
Yeah. And our listening lions out there, if you're really perplexed on what to be for Halloween, just be a big sports enthusiast and come to the game.
Wow.
That's an easy costume.
Yeah.
Come check it out. Well, you know who else is going to go to the playoffs, Martin?
Who would that be?
It is guaranteed. Mathematically speaking, it is a guarantee that the UCCS women's volleyball team will make the playoffs this season. I just did the calculations earlier along with Jared Werner, the sports information director, and we verified that the very worst the Mountain Lion volleyball team can finish is 8th place. They would finish in a tie with Fort Lewis for 8th place. We have the heads-up advantage against Fort Lewis, so the very worst the volleyball team can do is 8th place, which is guaranteed a playoff spot. However, Martin, I do not believe that the worst that will happen is us being 8th place. I don't think that's going to happen at all.
Yeah.
That is worst case scenario. I don't see that coming into play.
Let me tell you, they had a tough weekend, but they played some really good competition. And I think, here's the thing. They lost both matches over the weekend.
Against ranked teams, mind you.
But I think they were very close to being, instead of 0-2, 2-0, especially in that first match. I think, and I think losing such a close match like that really took a lot out of their sails going into
I agree.
Into the next day.
That was a tough matchup. Well, they were going for a history-making win on Friday night when they took on Regis. They were playing the number 1 team in all the RMAC, Regis is the 15th ranked team in the entire nation, and the Mountain Lions won the first 2 sets. They were up 2-0 going into the intermission. Coming back from the intermission, it was the tale of 2 completely different games, Martin, because all of a sudden the Rangers found their groove, they found their stride, and the Mountain Lions looked a little disjointed. They looked a little perplexed on the defensive end. They came in as the number 1 team in most blocking categories, that being in block assists, blocks per set, total blocks, but they weren't able to play their game that night, and the Rangers took advantage, and the Rangers won the 3rd set, and then the Rangers won the 4th set, and then the Rangers crept back and won the 5th set.
It was tight. In the 4th set in the 5th.
Yeah, it was a very close matchup, but coming out of that intermission, the Rangers did a very nice job of making some of those adjustments necessary to move forward, and the Mountain Lions weren't able to do that. And I really think it was a little bit of the youth and the inexperience. A lot of freshmen on the team, and as wonderful as they have played all season long, they have a lot of skill, a lot of talent, but when they were placed in that moment of adversity, I think it was a little difficult for them to respond because they haven't been there yet.
Yeah, but the Mountain Lion volleyball team has kind of been they've had a few early in the season. They had a few games that were tough that they lost, and then they rattled off a bunch of wins in a row. I really think that the team, I think Coach Keith Barnett, KB Smooth, I think he's going to get the team rallied around those losses. I think,
I agree.
Because I'll tell you what, I saw some of the players in the stands afterwards, and they were visibly upset about it. That was on Saturday, against Regis. That was a tough one, and I think that they're going to take that one to heart. I think they're going to rebound and rally from that loss. I think you're going to see them solidify their playing.
I'm not so sure that I disagree with you, Martin, because if there's ever a such thing as a good loss, maybe those were some good losses, because it allowed the Mountain Lions to know, hey, we can beat these Regis Rangers. The Rangers are the number 1 team in all the RMAC, and UCCS was up 2-0. I think that let them know that they could beat a top team. They need to play 3 full sets in order to get that sweep. In the 3rd set, they kind of faltered. 4th set, 5th set, similar. But it let them know that they can hang with the big dogs. Not only can they hang with them, but they can beat them. And so moving forward, the Mountain Lions, tonight they're going to be in action here in Colorado Springs, not at home, but against crosstown rival Colorado College. Now that should be a game that the Mountain Lions could build some confidence up again. And then they're going to go on the road, and they're going to take on Shattern State on Friday. And Shattern State's not a very great team, Martin. They're 2-13 in the RMAC, and the Mountain Lions have won the last 15 matchups against the Eagles dating back to 2004. So those 2 games, those 2 matchups should be wins for the Mountain Lions. And then they will be on the road when they go to South Dakota and they take on Black Hills State. And the Mountain Lions have won every single matchup with Black Hills State. Yeah, granted, so they've only played once, but they won.
Yeah, but I think, that could be 3 really, I won't say easy, but confidence-building wins.
Right.
That will get them back on track, get them on a roll again, and, get them in position for when they do go to the playoffs, they'll be riding high.
Absolutely. So we already established that the worst they can do is the 8th seed. There's still a chance the Mountain Lions could creep up and snag one of those home playoff spots. The top 4 teams in the RMAC host the first round playoff game, and if the Mountain Lions can get on a little bit of a run, they have these 2 games on the road this weekend, and then next weekend they're going to be back in action as they take on Colorado Christian and Colorado School of Mines, both very good teams in their own right, and those are going to be very good matchups, and that's the way the Mountain Lions will conclude their season. So 5 matchups left, 4 conference matchups left, and the Mountain Lions trying to surge. And you know who's really been the catalyst to this team, Martin? I think you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kinza.
Nikki Kinzer.
That's right.
Last week, if we had our show, we would have named her the reigning everything, because she's the reigning RMAC Player of the Month. Last week, she was the RMAC Defensive Player of the Week for the second week in a row, third time this season. She was also named to the first team RMAC All-Academic. And over the weekend, Nikki Kinzer becomes number 1 all-time in career block assist in school history. She broke the record this weekend in the loss, but she stands alone right now as she is number 1 all-time for career block assists at UCCS. Congratulations to Nikki Kinzer. What an unbelievable feat that is.
Yeah.
And
as far as UCCS is concerned, she's all world. She does everything.
She does. She's
and I think she's a good leader for the young underclassmen.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Nikki Kinzer has been a shining star here on the Mountain Lion team, and
she's even been a shining lion, I think.
She's even been a shining lion. There's no better accolade than that.
I know. That beats everything.
That's the top. That's the top, Martin. But real quickly, a few more minutes left in the show. We have got to cover, if nothing else, we have got to cover the RMAC Cross Country Championship, because this was the first time UCCS has ever hosted that event, and it went very smooth. I helped with the setup a few weeks ago, and it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of people out there in Monument Valley Park, Martin, and both teams had a good showing. The women's cross country team is ranked 14th in the nation. They are 4th in the region, and the Mountain Lions finished 4th in the RMAC Cross Country Championship, led by Madison Naher. Maddie was on the show a few weeks ago, if you remember. She came on with Mike English, and there's the bump we were talking about, Martin.
I know. There you go.
Martin.
For all you future athletes coming on the show,
or current athletes,
that's what I mean. Yeah, current athletes who.
Everybody.
Let me tell you, all those listening out here, you come into the studio, you come on air with us at the Lions Den, you're going to get the Lions Den bump.
The bump.
All right,
the bump.
Even if you don't play sports, you drop by here,
the bump.
You'll come in and you'll walk away and you'll buy. You should go buy a lottery ticket. That's all I got to say.
Because we've just given you the bump.
That's right.
And Madison Naher proves that as she helps the Mountain Lions to that finish. And so congratulations to Madison Naher for her finish in the RMAC Cross Country Championship. She did a fantastic job. She led 4 Mountain Lions in that, and she earned all RMAC honors. And so congratulations to her, as did Megan Burrell, Angie Martell, and Veronica Sandoval, as they all earned the all RMAC honors for that race. So congratulations to them, and they've done a great job. 14th in the nation, 4th in the region. Fantastic job.
So what's next for them?
Well, Martin, they're taking a little bit of time off, and but they're going to be up at the Division II South Central Regional Championships in Denver on the 3rd of November. So here in just a few days, the top 5 teams from the regional meet will advance to the National Championships on November 17th. So a big opportunity in a few days for this team to advance to the National Championships that will be held in on November 17th. So a golden opportunity in a few days for this Mountain Lion team to excel. And same for the men's team. The men's team right now ranked 9th in the nation, 4th in the region. But guess what? Emilio Trujillo finally defeated on the season. What a slacker.
I know, I'm surprised. I am so disappointed.
Unbelievable. That guy, he lost.
He never loses. Never.
No.
What was wrong with him that day?
But you know what? He still posted the second best individual conference finish in program history. The men's team is 9th in the nation, 4th in the region, and he led the Mountain Lions to a 4th place finish himself. Him and Mike English both earned all conference honors for their individual performances. The 4th place finish was the best team performance since the 2005 championship. So Mike English also got the bump because he finished pretty strong as well.
Yeah, came onto the show, got the good karma.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a fantastic job by everybody involved, but especially we want to congratulate Madison Naher and Mike English, our Mountain Lions Den residential superstars here from the show. They came on a few weeks ago. We want to thank them and congratulate them as the Mountain Lions post a very good finish in both the women's and the men's side of things. So congratulations to them. Our hats are off to all of them. Congratulations.
Yeah, and same thing for the men as far as the upcoming schedule.
Absolutely. Thank you, Martin.
So they'll be in Denver for the Division II South Central region next week, and then the top 6 teams from that meet will advance to the national championships on November 17th as well. So that is good.
That is good.
Yes.
That's good. I have a correction to make, too. I'm sorry, I was looking through the notes here. The women finished 3rd in the RMAC Championship.
All right.
The men finished 4th. So
yeah,
3rd
don't
and
sell
4th.
the women short.
Yeah. My apologies. The women finished 3rd, men finished 4th. So just want to make that clear before we head off the air. But before we go, Martin, what do we leave our listening Lions with each and every week?
Yes, what to watch for.
That's right, Martin. You got a lot to watch for. It starts tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as the UCCS women's volleyball team will travel all the way across down Nevada to Colorado College as they take on the Tigers in this crosstown rivalry. The Mountain Lions are set to serve the Tigers up tonight in some volleyball action. That should be a good one, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Tomorrow night, though, Martin, playoffs tomorrow night, Martin, here at Mountain Lions Stadium at the beautiful campus of the University of Colorado Springs. We have 2 soccer matchups starting at 4:30. The women will take on Fort Lewis, followed by the men's matchup against Colorado Mesa at 7:30. Playoffs tomorrow, Martin. It's the first round of the RMAC soccer playoffs. If our teams win tomorrow, they'll be back in action on Friday for the semifinals. If they win at the semifinals, they'll be back in action on Sunday for the championship. How exciting.
That is good. And so please come out in your costumes for a trick or treat, and hopefully it'll be a treat by us winning.
Yeah, you know what? It's going to be a treat when we have a few hat tricks. That's going to be the trick or treat. The hat trick for the treat. That's going to be it.
Yeah, but seriously, I would like some candy there, so if someone could take care of that, I'd be very happy.
Yeah, you'd help Martin the Tiny Heiny Hines keep up with that moniker.
Yeah, and candy bars. I don't want any of that cheap stuff.
No, the big ones. You know, I always loved going and trick or treating in the really nice neighborhoods like the Broadmoor, because sometimes they give you full candy bars.
I'm like Charlie Brown. I get rocks.
You get rocks? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's because you got a Tiny Heiny Hines.
Yeah.
But Friday, back to what to watch for.
What to watch for.
Yeah, back to that. Friday, as I mentioned, more soccer if we win tomorrow night. Friday, we also have the volleyball team in action against Shattern State at 5 o'clock. Then on Saturday, the volleyball team will be in action once again in South Dakota as they take on Black Hill State at 1 o'clock. And then on Sunday, more soccer if we win tomorrow and on Friday. So, very exciting stuff. We hope to see all of you listening Lions out there. If you want your chance to win those haunted house tickets, be the first comment on our Facebook page. If you want a chance to win a UCCS Radio t-shirt, leave us a nickname for Martin. If we use it on the show, you will win.
Yeah, and listen also to Office Hours with Ben, because I believe he'll have some tickets to give away as well.
Up next. That show is up next, ladies and gentlemen, live for this week's episode of The Lions Den. I'm your host, MJ Arjamandi, alongside my partner in crime, as always, Martin the Tiny Heiny Hines. Until next week's episode, go Mountain Lions!
Peace out.